Hi everyone. I welcome you all to another session of Expert Roundup. And today I'm very excited. The guest that we have today is a phenomenal person, right? When it's come to Amazon, everyone knows his name. Without further ado, let's welcome Kevin King, the guy who has been selling on Amazon for decades, and he's famous for he's the only probably he's on top 40 list when it's come to Amazon, and nine-figure Amazon seller, helping other individual to help and grow their businesses on Amazon, and probably he's the most favorite guy when it's come to Amazon fraternity. Welcome, Kevin. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here tonight, man. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure having you here. Probably everyone is so excited for you. You have been here. This is for the very first time I'm having you here on this platform, and everyone is so excited. I was receiving ton of messages from community members. When Kevin will be online. So they are waiting. Actually, it's 11 a.m. here in 11 p.m. here in Pakistan. So they are just eagerly waiting to be on this live session and to hear the words of wisdom that you are going to share throughout this conversation, throughout this live sessions. So I'm pretty much excited to learn amazing stuff from you.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here and happy to share.
Thank you so much. So people start saying, "My teacher, big love." Everybody loves you. Everybody loves you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I would appreciate if you can share your journey, how you started with Amazon, and you have ton of things to say. You are the one who featured in prestigious newspaper. You are the person who has been featured in multiple television shows. You are running you have traveled more than 90 countries. The freedom that you have, the time you have started, you are the one who has been into this e-commerce game since 1990s. You started your journey since 1990s. It's 31 year serving in this industry, and everyone knows you. You are so connected with each and every single individual in this Amazon fraternity. You have been part of 40, 50 plus marketing seminars or webinars. So you do 30 plus podcasts. There are a ton of things to say about you. It was a pleasure having you. So would you mind sharing your journey?
Sure, no problem. Yeah, I after I graduated to college, my father wanted me to actually go and work for an accounting company or work a regular job, and that's just not me. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I lived on a friend's couch for a long time, and we sold some T-shirts and did some just trying to make a little bit of money to pay the bills, and eventually that evolved into e-commerce, actually direct mail. My start was actually sending like catalogs and brochures in through the physical mail. You know, people get them in their mailbox, and they would order products. They would write you a check, or this is before the internet existed. And then around 1994 or 1995, the internet started here in the United States. Started hearing stuff about it, and I started getting intrigued. This is pretty interesting. You can reach anybody in the world instantly. And so I started dabbling with some e-commerce about 1995, 1996. Google didn't exist back then. There was no such thing as Google. It was Yahoo and Alta Vista and Lycos and some other web browsers. So I started selling a few things. And in 2001, I started to sell on Amazon. But there was not the FBA or FBM model. That didn't exist back then. I was just selling some things from my house, kind of like eBay or something, just selling some different things. And I ran several different websites that I still have today. I have a calendar business where we sell calendars that hang on the wall that have pictures and stuff in them. And then in 2005, I also did a lot of other things. Ran some membership websites. I traveled the world, ran a television production company, did a few other things. But in 2015, I saw something online from amazing.com, the ASM.
Yeah.
And I was watching their they had like a little teaser video. They did like 4 videos that would tell you how great selling on Amazon was. And at the end of the 4th video, they say, come and pay us $5,000 for the training. And so I watched the videos, and I was like, I don't need to pay you $5,000 for the training. I already have been doing some of this stuff in my other businesses. And so I got intrigued, and it's just back then there was no podcast. There really wasn't. Maybe just a couple, maybe 1 or 2 podcasts, maybe 1 or 2 Facebook groups for sellers. It was still pretty new. Not too much software. Helium 10 didn't exist. And so I started selling FBA in 2015. And I launched 5 different brands, grew some of those. A couple of them I quit selling and they didn't work out so well. And then that evolved into the founders of Helium 10, Manny Coates and Guillermo Puyol, reached out to me. So I posted something on their Facebook group. Someone was asking some questions and I posted my response and they liked my response. And so they invited me to their podcast in 2016. I was like, no, I'm just a seller. I don't want to go on a podcast. I just want to keep my head down and work. I don't need to be talking to anybody else. They're like, no, just come on the podcast. And so I came on their podcast. It was Manny Coates' podcast. I think it's still one of the most popular ones to this day from back then. And evidently, what I just said it like it is. A lot of people in this industry, they like to paint a picture that it's a very easy business, that you can get rich really fast and you can drive a nice car and travel the world and not have to work. And I didn't say that. That's what everybody else is selling you, because they want to sell you a course. They want to take your money. And I said, no, this is hard work. And I just said it like it is, with no BS, just the truth. And evidently that resonated. And so then other people started asking me to be on their podcast. And then Helium 10 said, hey, we're going to do a training. Do you want to do the training? It was, at that time, it's called Helium. It's called Illuminati. And that was for the advanced sellers. And so we did that. Now it's called Helium 10 Elite. And then I got tired of all the stuff that's on Facebook. A lot of misinformation. People will post a question, a new seller on Facebook. Hey, how do I do this? And somebody would answer them, and it's just wrong. The answer was from someone who's not selling, or someone that doesn't know what they're talking about. And you see everybody, and that people would start believing these incorrect things, and it got frustrating. And I got tired with all the people, all the people saying, it's easy business. Look at my screenshot. I did $100,000 in the first month and made all this money, and now I paid all my bills. And it's like, it just doesn't work that way. A few people, they get lucky and it does work for them, but most people, no, this is hard work. And so I'm going to do a course. And the guys at Helium 10 said, why don't we do it with you? You produce it, you make it, you write it. We'll put it out there. And so that led to the Freedom Ticket. And then I still sell today. I have 5 different Amazon companies that I own or I'm a part of that are still selling. I also have a Product Savants, which is an advanced product sourcing it's not for new people. It's only for people who are already doing very well. We help you find opportunities. I run the $1 Billion Seller Summit, which we just did one 2 weeks ago, a virtual one, which is a really high level a group of sellers. We had several $100 million sellers attend, several $50 million a year sellers. It's a small group, but it's a very highly successful. And we share tactics and strategies that are not public, different ways to do the marketing, different ways to rank your products and that kind of thing. And then, I've got, like you said, I've spoken at about 40 different events all over the world for Amazon, and been on a bunch of podcasts, and happy to be here with you guys for the first time to meet everybody. I've always known, the Pakistani, they're hardworking people, they're people that really have a passion, that really smart people, and they need an opportunity, and e-commerce is a great opportunity to help you and your family. And now with the internet, you can be based anywhere as long as you have a decent internet connection, and you can learn the skills. You can make money all over the world, sitting from your home in your pajamas if you want to. So it's a great thing.
So I might doubt you're wearing a pajama right now. Yeah, chilling at home, having a Coke. That's amazing, actually. So that's one thing that the throughout journey which you have mentioned here, like how you started, and I really like your take on like courses. So honestly, if this is what I think. Probably, I want your words on this as well. So I think most of the people get fascinated by the course. They get fascinated by the cool Lamborghini and a cool villa. A guy sitting like, this is how I built this villa. This is how I bought this Lamborghini. I make $100,000 within a month, first month. Oh my God, that's not true. and like you are much more experienced as any one of us here, and this is not possible to start with zero and build $100,000 brand within first week, or within 10 days, or within 30 days. It took whole lot of effort to be on Amazon. It's a competitive market. It's honestly, if you want to be on Amazon right now, it's so hard. It's super competitive. You need to be very smart. You need to be cool with your strategies. You need to be outstanding with your product, your images. Each and everything should have a differentiation that can create among other sellers. So you don't agree with buying an expensive course, like a course worth of 5,000 with 4 videos in it, and like, because this is what people have start thinking. And I might think these courses, what they usually start telling to people, like buying a $5,000 course and you can launch a product with $2,000, with $3,000. Is it something which do you think it work? Is it possible?
You can launch a product for a couple $1,000s, sure, but it's going to take a you can't launch any product. There's a very small number of products that you might be able to find an opportunity to launch something for a couple $1,000s, but a product you launch for a couple $1,000s is not going to make you $100,000 in a month. The story that they say, yeah, you hear stories from these course people, by the way, usually the villa is rented, the car is rented, the $100,000 screenshot they show you is either fabricated in some cases, or it's what they don't tell you is that was all promotional sales. They did a big giveaway. Amazon records all the sales as the full price, and so it's $100,000 in sales, but that was all giveaways. Only like 5 people actually bought the product. The rest were all like rebates or something. So it can be misleading. And yeah, I don't think you need to pay $5,000 for a course. There's some free stuff out there, but you got to be careful. Some of the free stuff is not very good. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube that's free, and some of it is just wrong, or it's old, and you have to be careful. But there are some good ones, and a lot of times people will start to sell on Amazon. They're like, this is hard work. I'm not making any money. Let me go make a course. And so they go and they make a course. And these are people that are not successful on Amazon, that just started 3 months ago selling on Amazon. They don't know anything. So they know a little bit more than you, maybe because you're new, but you got to be careful on who you trust and who you follow out there, because there's a lot of wrong information, and a lot of people will say stuff, and they may hear it from another person, and they start to repeat it, and what they don't realize is that information is wrong in the first place. But to answer your question, yes, you can start. It was much easier several years ago to start with a small amount of money. But now you can. It just depends on what your goals are. For some people, to start with $2,000, if they can make a $500 profit a month, maybe that doubles their salary and it takes care of their family and they're happy. For other people, an extra $500 a month is not going to do anything, and that's not their goal. Their goal is they want to build $1 million company. And I think what happens a lot of times is people get these dollar signs in their eyes and they want to become millionaires. And they see there are some people in this business that do very well. But the vast majority of the people that start an Amazon account fail. Like 95% of the people that try to sell on Amazon are not successful. And at the end they say, oh, it doesn't work. It's a scam. It's too late. Let's go to Shopify, or let's do something else instead. And it's not the case. It just means they didn't do it right. They didn't understand, they weren't taught right, or they didn't do it right. They picked the wrong product. They didn't have enough money for the product they picked, or whatever it may be. That's usually the case. Or maybe they just can't execute. A lot of people, they always stay in learning mode. They're always, okay, let me do the next course. Let me watch the next podcast. Let me watch the next Facebook. And they never actually take the steps to actually start. And that's a problem with a lot of people, is they get fearful. They're like, I'm spending $1,000 here. This is all the money I have. What if I lose it all? My life will be ruined. Yeah. And that's not the case. If you spend $1,000 and it doesn't work, yes, that sucks, and it's not good. But you learned a lot, and hopefully you can find a way to do it again. And the next time, you're not going to make those same mistakes. It's kind of like dating a girl or something. The first time you go on a date, you're kind of clumsy. You're kind of like maybe you're not so good, but by the second or third time, You date a different girl, you kind of know the right things to say, you know the right moves, you know the right things, and it's kind of the same selling on Amazon. There's a learning curve, and so you have to look at your first time. Most people don't succeed with their first product. A lot of people fail. So you don't want to spend too much money, but you look at that like it's your education. Instead of spending $5,000 on a course, spend $1,000 on Amazon, knowing that you might lose that money, but then you just learned a lot, and you have experience and you know what to do way more than you will just watching a course.
Yeah, I solely agree with this. I completely agree with this. The way you describe the whole process, I honestly loved it. So I just have one thing, right? Because you have been mentoring people for a couple of years, right? So there are multiple things. You have an experience. You started selling since early '90s, and you start with the catalog business and all, and then you move to you are one of very few people who start selling online. At the time, most of the people don't know. Even in US, most of the people are not familiar with all this thing. And then you start with Amazon. So how much? So as per you, how much there is an importance like of mentor? Like if like should someone get mentor from an experienced person? Because this will I think personally this will save their time, and they can learn from people experiences instead of buying a course and watching it and trying to understand by yourself and just trying to put all the information in your freaking head. One should go and seek for a mentor. Is this something that works in this fraternity, in this space?
Yeah, it's always nice to have somebody that has been there before you, that you can ask questions over, that can guide you. I mean, I think you can learn a lot with the right courses. Yeah, like what you guys are doing with your courses. Like the Freedom Ticket. There's a lot of information there. Is it everything you need to know? No, but it's a good foundation. So I still think it's important to go and go through a good course or a good training to get the basics, um, and then maybe find a mentor, or if you can't find a one-on-one mentor, find a group of some sort where there's experienced people in there that can help you, can help answer your questions and kind of guide you. And that can definitely save you some time and some money. But sometimes the most successful people, they don't have time for mentoring because they're busy running their business. So someone that has a lot of time to do mentoring, their business is not selling on Amazon, their business is mentoring. So you have to keep that in mind too. And it's kind of like a teacher, at a university. The people that teach at the university, they always say those that do, and those that can't teach. So you have to be careful there. They can be out of touch with what's actually happening because if they're not actively selling. So if your mentor needs to be someone that's currently has an Amazon account and is currently selling on Amazon, I would not use a mentor that, yeah, I sold 5 years ago, but now I just have my agency and that's all I do. I would be a little bit. I'm not saying there's probably some good ones out there, but I would be careful with that because they don't have their finger on the pulse. They're not on the latest. And Amazon is constantly changing, and every day there's something new, and the new things go out of date. What you could do to launch a product 3 months ago doesn't work. It changes now, or Amazon takes away something, or adds to something new. So you need someone that has experience and has done it, and not that just gonna regurgitate.
Yeah. I agree with this. I agree with this. And by the way, I do have this Helium 10 account, a platinum one, and I've been through the Freedom Ticket training, which we have prepared, and it's amazing. It's hands down amazing for all those people who wants to start with an Amazon. It's a proper roadmap, and it's the foundation. It's a foundation those who wants to start with, and most of the people here they do have access to Helium 10 official accounts, like they do have access to Helium 10 platinum accounts, and they've been through all this training because this provides a proper roadmap to someone who wants to initiate their businesses. I loved it. I love the training that you have
Important to say
prepared.
too that, I mean, the Freedom Ticket is free, so it's not a
Yeah.
$5,000 course. If you have Helium 10 membership, it's free. But that's not the only way. The Freedom Ticket is the basics, but I'm not saying that's the only way or the way you have to follow everything to the exact letter, because there's other ways to sell on Amazon. You can, and there's other people out there that instruct that have maybe a little bit different approach, and that's okay. You have to find the person that you resonate with, that you trust, that you believe in, And don't just take one person. I mean, if you go through the Freedom Ticket, don't just take me. Don't just say, oh, okay, Kevin says this. This is the way it is. This is the gospel. No, I mean, it's a good foundation and it's one way, but listen to some other smart people too, because there's other smart people out there that can help you. And maybe they'll say something that maybe I told you something and it didn't quite register, but they'll say it in a different way. And you're like, now I get it. Okay, now I need to do this. So constantly educate yourself. The minute you stop learning is the minute you stop earning. So you got to constantly be learning to keep on earning.
Oh my God, the piece of advice. That's a great piece of advice for everyone here. So, Kevin, just wanted to ask you, like the time you started with Amazon, did you took like okay? You already shared that you watch 4 free ASM videos and then you start selling yourself. You didn't train by anyone. Like you haven't been into any Amazon trainings. You haven't buy any course because you learn everything on your own, and then you started sharing the knowledge on many sports podcasts. We do have few questions from our community. So should we take it?
Sure, no problem.
Okay. So one is from Johnson, and he asked like, why is brand building so important, and how can it be beneficial in the future?
So brand building, there's two thoughts on brand building. You'll hear some people that tell you have to build a brand to sell on Amazon. That's not true. You don't have to have a brand to sell on Amazon. You don't have to build a brand. Now, a brand is not a trademark and a logo. A lot of people, they think, oh, I need to get brand registry. Create my brand. I'm going to come up with a good name. I'm going to have a logo made, and now I have my brand. No, that's not your brand. That's your company name and your logo. A brand is something that emotes a response in people. It stands for something. It creates an emotional response, and it makes people passionate about it, or it represents them. A woman that carries a Louis Vuitton $1,000 purse, the reason she buys a $1,000 purse is because of the brand, and it makes her feel a certain way. She feels important. She feels like she can afford this. She feels like she's made it in life, or she's pretty, or whatever. Versus a girl that goes and buys a $10 handbag. She's more practical. She's like, I'm buying it at Walmart. I'm going to save my money. I don't care. I just want it to be functional. It's a brand. It's an identity. So to create that takes a lot of time. It doesn't necessarily take a lot of money, but it takes a lot of time to create that. And so a lot of people think that they have to have that done to sell on Amazon, and you don't. That can come later. So I would recommend people, if you have a lot of money and you have a lot of experience, then yes, and you have a good team, then you could start with a brand. I mean, I just started a company last year, and we started with a brand, but we also started with close to $1 million in investment in the company. So we could do that, and we're approaching it that way. But a lot of people, they don't have that experience or that money. So just start selling. Just start selling, and the brand can become later. You have to have the name and you have to have the logo, but then you can start working. Just get up and running, and get your feet wet, and start generating some money, and then you can evolve that into a brand. Now, Amazon is going more towards brands. They rather have brands selling on their platform than just random products. But you look at all the Chinese sellers, they're not trying to create brands. I mean, Anchor is different. Anchor is a brand, but a lot of Chinese sellers, they have weird names as their brand name on Amazon. Those aren't real brands. But Amazon's going more towards brands, and they're favoring that, with brand analytics, the A+ content, the videos, all that stuff. And I think the future is going to be more towards brands. And if you want to sell your business, there's some buyers that will buy your business and they don't care if it's a brand. They just want your ASIN. They just want a successful ASIN that's making some cash, and they'll put that under their company. Then there's other businesses that want to buy a brand. If I'm a Procter and Gamble in the United States and I have a bunch of baby products, I might buy, if I had a baby brand, they might buy my brand because this would fit nice in our portfolio and help us expand. They're not looking for it for just the cash flow. They're looking for it for the goodwill. A brand has goodwill towards it. So you're not really a brand on Amazon until people are searching for you. So if you think you're a brand on Amazon, you're like, yes, I've already built a brand. Kevin doesn't know what he's talking about. Go look and see how many times your brand name is searched for on Amazon. So if your brand name is King Products, I'm going to go and let me see how many times King Products is searched for. Not when you're doing a launch, because when people do a launch, they type their brand name and then there's a keyword sometimes. That doesn't count. So when it's normal, everyday times, How many people are actually searching for your brand name? And if you're not getting thousands of searches a month under your brand name, you're not a brand. People aren't, they're just buying your product because it's the cheapest one or the coolest one. But if you're getting thousands of searches a month, I mean, we just did this we're doing, one of my companies that's starting now is doing stuff made out of recycled ocean waste. And we were going to make one particular product with this. And then we had a big brand, a big surfing brand here in the US and Australia. They're very well known. They came to us and said, hey, we want you to do some products for us on Amazon. So the first thing I did is I want to see how many people are searching a month for this brand name on Amazon. And they had like 30,000 searches a month just for their brand name. So that tells me that people actually want to buy products based around what this brand, it's a surfing company. So the company has it's a statement, it's the hippies that like to go surfing, that like to party on the weekends, whatever, and they want products that represents that lifestyle and has that logo or that image on it. And so I said that, that's good, we'll do that. But if this company had only like 200 searches a month, I'd be like, well, I don't need to pay you a licensing fee. I can just do this myself. Why am I going to pay you? There's no benefit. So a brand has goodwill. The name alone is worth money. So if you're a brand, sometimes some companies in the United States, for example, I don't know, what was a good example? They go out of business. I'm just going to use it. I don't know if this is an exact example, but let's say Blockbuster Video. Blockbuster Video used to be a huge video rental company in the United States. Had video, you could go and rent VHS tapes and DVDs, and they had like 4,000 locations. Now I think they have just a couple left in the United States. The business completely went under. So if that business closed, their business is worth nothing. So people aren't going to pay them millions of dollars for one or two stores that aren't making much money. But the name Blockbuster, someone might come and say, look, that name means something. That has an image, a connotation. People identify with this. We'll pay you $10 million for the name, and then for the brand name, and then we're going to start our own company called Blockbuster and do something similar. Someone might come and say, look, that name means something. So that's a brand. And so if you can get to that point, then you've made it. And that's what Yeti coolers are. That's what Anchor now is on Amazon. They're one of the few ones that have come up through Amazon. There's some other examples on Amazon that started as a tea company that started on Amazon and has become a brand. And it's possible. Amazon's a great platform to launch and to prove concept, to get all the bugs out, and then to take it to other marketplaces and to other channels. But I just want to clarify there that creating a brand is not easy and takes time.
Yeah, it do take time. It do take time. It do take whole lot of effort, a constant working on it. Like once and like the things that you have shared, if you don't have a big budget, you should start as a product, and a brand can be created later. But if you have this thing in mind, oh, I just want to create a brand with this much amount. Probably someone wants to launch a product, and he was like, I am going to create a brand with $10,000. Then probably it's gonna give them the hard time. But if they have this sort of,
it's okay when you first start to have the idea in your head for the brand, and this is your goal, but don't wait for everything to be perfect and before you start. Just go ahead and get started, and then it'll evolve over time, and maybe you'll change your mind, like, oh, that was not such a good idea. And you'll get feedback from your customers. If you're selling a dog bowl, that's your first product is a dog bowl, and you start to see feedback and you start to see who your customers are, and you can create an avatar around those customers. And maybe these customers that are buying your dog bowl, they all like to go take a jog. And so your brand is not just going to be a pet brand now. Your brand could be a brand it's for outdoor people who love the outdoors, who like to exercise, and they have pets. And so you can have products that are not just dog products. You can have products that are something for running, something for the outdoors, something for a healthy lifestyle. So you can create this whole thing around it. It doesn't have to just be just for pets. For example, you can create something around an avatar of a lifestyle.
Agree. So, like one of our member, he asked like where Mr. Kevin see Amazon business in upcoming 5 years. Many members are saying it's really hard to start with Amazon business now. It's not the right time. So, what do you think? Like, so down the line, 5 years, do you think Amazon would be as good as now, or there would be a drastic change in market?
I think it's going to be better than it is now. Is it easy right now? No, it's not easy. Was it easier? The right time to start on Amazon, selling on Amazon is today. It would have been great if you could start it 5 years ago. It definitely was easier, less competition, but the best time is today. In the next 5 years, Amazon's going to continue to grow, not only in the US, but throughout the world. And they're going to become bigger and bigger and bigger. I do think Amazon's going to become more of a pay-to-play platform. So the organic is going to become less and less, and the paid positions, the paid PPC and the paid video ads, I think that's going to become more important. So I think it is going to become more expensive to actually sell on Amazon, and going to be, the people that are not prepared to treat this like a business, and to really come at it strong are going to have more trouble. But I think the opportunity there is if you know how to. There's still a lot of people that don't know how Amazon works. The average consumer has no idea that there's people like us that are selling them the products. They think it's Amazon selling it to them. And there's a lot of business people that think, oh, I put my products on Amazon because my friend said that his were selling and I didn't sell any. They don't know how the system works. They don't know how algorithms work. They don't know how product videos work. They don't know how listings and keywords and all that. They don't understand that. So there's always opportunity. And if you don't want to sell on Amazon, or if you don't have the money to sell on Amazon, there's tremendous opportunity for people that are smart that can help others. So if you learn everything on Amazon, use somebody else's money, and you take a percentage. I have a friend right now who he's never sold really e-commerce at all, and he saw me selling on e-commerce on Amazon a few years ago. And he's like, I was telling him, dude, you need to do this, and he's like, nah, I don't want to mess with that. That's no fun. Now. But he didn't have the money. He didn't have like $100,000 or $10,000. He didn't even have $5,000 of his own money to actually start. But what he did is he kind of watched me and started watching a few things. And then he went out to found some contact, a friend of his who had a company that produces makeup products, and they weren't doing Amazon. He's like, hey, let me help you do your Amazon. And he kind of bullshitted his way through. He knew enough by being around me to say the right words. And before he went in the meeting, he called me and said, hey, Kevin, how do I find out the keywords for this? How do I do this? And so I showed him. He went in there and gave him a presentation, and they were blown away. They're like, holy cow, this guy knows what he's talking about. And then he got the job. And then he's like, oh my gosh, now I have the job. I got to figure out how to do this. What do I do? So he started learning and asking me questions. But what he does is he gets a flat fee, so it's a few $1,000s a month as a salary. This company does, I don't know, maybe $200,000 or $300,000 a month in sales on Amazon. So he gets a small percentage to cover, $2,000 or $3,000 as a base, and then he gets a percentage of how much they sell. And then he has targets, like if he can raise their sales from 300,000 to 400,000, he gets like an extra bonus. At the end of the day. At the end of the year, he'll make some good money, and he doesn't have to risk any of his own money. He doesn't have to risk anything. And there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people out there, especially U.S. sellers. If you can come to even established, successful U.S. sellers, and you can say, hey, if you've been helping a client in the German market, and you can come to them and say, look, I know you're busy right now, but let me handle your German stuff for you. I'll help you with the German market. I'll oversee the whole team. I'll oversee all the customer service. I'll do everything. Just pay me a small percentage of how much we increase in sales. There's tons of opportunity like that too out there. And those don't require you to have a lot of money or investment, and it's less risk. And I see that in the next 5 years, more and more that's being people looking for more and more of that. So that's a great opportunity to tell us. Too, it's not just selling on Amazon, it's all the support things around Amazon, all the guys creating 3D graphics and 3D renders, the people creating videos, the people doing the keyword research, writing listings, the photos, all that stuff. It's a whole infrastructure ecosystem that's developed, and I think it's going to continue to grow. So you can carve out what you're good at, and you can make money.
Yeah, I totally agree with the things that you have said for this specific. Like, if someone does not have money, they can start offering their services. And I completely agree. We have seen this culture growing and growing in Pakistan as well, because in like the youth, a kid age 20 or 21, 22, definitely he's not going to have $20,000 or $10,000 or even not $5,000 to launch product on Amazon. Then what they did, they keep watching content, they keep learning, and they try to connect with someone who's selling on Amazon. Because in Pakistan, we people are very generous, we people are very friendly. So normally what like when I do my Amazon things, I used to connect few students with me, like few people, like those who are interested in learning. And I show them, this is the interface, this is how it works, and this is what Amazon is. Actually, they are learning from YouTube, from our content, and from different podcasts and everywhere. And they gather their knowledge, they make notes, and they start learning. Okay, this is how it works, this is how it works. And then they see me working or other people working. They start building their learning process. And then they start offering their services for free. For first few months, they were like, okay, I'm going to work on your product. Okay, you have a pretty bad listing, and it seems you are not getting orders. Probably you're getting 2 orders every single day. I can help you in getting 3 orders, then 4 order, 5 order with time, and I am not going to charge you for the first month. People are willing to give. Okay, someone has a dropping business and it's not making them money, and they're pretty much happy with someone who can offer them this kind of services. And like we have seen this culture, people start offering, and when they see the growth in their business, and they start offering equity. Okay, you are doing great, and you can take 10% equity in my business on profit, and once you are going to flip it, and I'm going to pay you $300, $400, $500, $1,000, whatsoever, how much capable you are on your as a monthly or a flat fee, and then on top I can give you 10% profit on my business. And we have seen this trend, and this is pretty amazing. Most of the sellers living in US, UK, Germany, they do have Amazon businesses, but they are not like, probably they don't have time to run it, or probably they are pretty much occupied with their other business, and they really want this person like this who can offer them this offer, and who can help their business grow. So that's an amazing thing actually.
Yeah, there's tremendous opportunity out there. And there's like 20, 25 different ways you can make money on Amazon, and selling is just one of them.
Yeah, selling is one of the biggest opportunity, and like service business is also good. Like those who don't have capital, they can start with the service business. All they can start with service business always. And like there is a huge potential here in Pakistan when it's come to freelancing. There are amazing 3D modulars who prepare 3D photography for Amazon. There are amazing people who do photography, and this costs like a lot cheaper when you get such services from people living in other side of the world. Because here people and they are talented people, right? The people are pretty much talented, and they offer their services like 3D modeling, 3D Amazon photography, listing content writing, and all this thing. That's how how it works. This is amazing actually, I would say.
Yeah, like
So
one of the great
yeah.
things, if you're new, like you said it, is you can offer to intern. You can reach out to some big sellers or people that on Amazon and say, hey, look, I'll come work. I'll work for you as a VA or whatever for a month for free. Maybe you're doing this while you're learning, while you're still watching podcasts and taking courses, and you can get a lot of valuable experience that way, and you can make some interesting contacts and meet other people, which could lead. Who knows where that's going to lead to?
Yeah,
In this
agree.
business, the mistake a lot of people make is they just stay in their house and they just watch videos by themselves. The best thing you can do in this business that's going to make give you the best chance of success is network. I know you have a large group there of 600,000 people in your group, and that's great. But network with those other people, but also go out to try to and join some other groups out there, in other countries, other Amazon groups, and participate there and watch those, because you'll learn a different perspective, or maybe you'll catch a few things that are missed. And I know it's difficult to not. Most of you can't travel. I don't know if you have live events, if you guys produce a live event in Pakistan for Amazon sellers, but if there's anything like that, those are some of the best. Where you go to an event, you meet the other people face to face, you sit down, you have a meal with them, you have a drink with them, you smoke the hookah, whatever, and those are where really good relationships are made, and some great contacts and business deals are made. So if you ever have the opportunity to do that, whether it be in Pakistan or somewhere else, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, I totally agree. So we do conduct such events, but due to COVID, we are pretty much stuck. We try to do all this live session. That this live session series expert roundup, I used to invite amazing Amazon sellers, service provider. Like you are one of the most like awaited one to be on this platform, and like everyone is so happy today. So I had Paul Baron, Emmy, Ashley, Isabella, everyone on this platform. They come, they talk, because probably this conversation people start asking questions, and when they get their answer, probably thousand of others have the same question in their mind, and with this live session they can get their answer. So, and it's on repeat, people watching it. So, we have one question from Johnson, and he asks, what mistakes do you make along the way that you have learned the most from? What is your advice for a newbie not to repeat those mistakes? Your word of wisdoms, actually.
I mean, the thing about this, if you're going to sell on Amazon, it's all about math. So if you're not good at math or you don't like math, you need to have a partner or somebody on your team that is good. And so knowing your numbers is the most important thing. Um, Me personally, when I first started, I invested too much in one product. You know, when I first started, I went to a friend of mine and had some of my own money, and I went to a friend of mine and got some extra money. And one of my first products cost about $100,000 to start because we create a special mold and we did a bunch of special things. And I wish I would not have spent all that money on that one product. I wish I would have taken that money and done like 5 products or 10 products, because the one product did well. But if I would have, but I had some problems with it after about a year. But if I would have taken that money and done like 10 products, maybe 3 or 4 of those would not work. But I would have 6 products that did, and it would be increase my chances. But the number one thing I see with Freedom Ticket is students, they don't pay attention to the math. So they source a product, maybe it costs them $3 in China from Alibaba. By the time they pay for the shipping and the taxes and the duties to get it to Amazon, maybe the price is now $5 or $6. Let's call it $6. And then they sell it for $11.99 on Amazon. And they wonder why they don't make any money. And they don't have the margin there. So a lot of people, the number one mistake is they don't understand margin. They think, oh, I have $5 profit there. No, you don't. You have Amazon's taking their fees for the FBA and their commission. And at the end of the day, you have $1. Well, you can't run advertising with $1. What if your competition lowers their price? Now you're losing money. So that's a big mistake, is a lot of people don't factor that in. Your selling price needs to be ideally 4 to 5 times your landed cost. Now that doesn't, if the product is an expensive product, you're selling like a $300 desk, that rule doesn't apply. It can be lower. But if it's an item that's under, say, $50 or $60, it needs to be whatever you're selling it for. You need to divide that by 4. So if it's a $40 product, the price is $39.99 on Amazon. The maximum you should be paying for that product landed is $10. Can you make it work if it's $15? Yes, maybe, but it doesn't give you a lot of room for error. So that's the biggest one. The second biggest one is people start selling on Amazon and they don't have enough money. They come and they have, let's say, $2,000 to start selling on Amazon, and so they find a product that maybe costs them $5 to buy. And they're like, okay, this is not a big product seller. I'm going to be selling something that's very niche. Maybe it only sells, I don't know, 200 units a month. It's only selling like 5, let's call it 6 units a day. So it's not a big seller, not a big BSR. And they place an order for it. And now they're $2,000. They don't do the math. They're like, okay, it's going to take 1 month to make it, 1 month to ship it. Amazon's going to have to check it in. So I need a 3-month supply. So if this item costs you $5 and you're going to sell 200 a month, that's $1,000 times $1,000 a month in your product cost times 3. You need $3,000, but they start with $2,000, and they just buy the MOQ, and they run out of stock, and they can't keep in stock, and so it's a constant restarting cycle, and you're constantly starting over. You're running out of stock, and that's the worst thing you can do on Amazon. So they shouldn't have found that product. If they only have $2,000, they need to maybe find a product that only costs $1 or $2 to sell, $1 or $2 their cost, so that they can stay in stock. So, like I say in the Freedom Ticket, I always recommend you have at least 2.5 times your initial inventory cost. So if you find a product and you're gonna have to give $1,000 to the factory to make it, and then there's gonna be some extra cost to say it's another $500 to ship it, so it's $1,500. Times that by 2.5. So that's about $3,700 that you need to actually sell that product. If you don't have $3,700, you should not start to sell that product in your pocket in this moment, right now. So you should not. You need to find a different product that you can afford, because if you're successful, you want to be able to place the second order. And the reason is that Amazon is going to take 3 or 4 weeks to pay you, and it's always going to be behind. So if you start to sell and you're successful, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to order some more from the factory. And unless you have a rich uncle or you have a neighbor that you can go knock on their door and say, give me some money, I'll give you a percentage. You're going to need that money ready to go in order to, because this is a very cash intensive business. And it can be, so most people that are making millions of dollars on Amazon are not putting millions of dollars in their pocket. I know a lot of sellers that do $5 million a year on Amazon, and their salary is maybe $50,000. 1%, less than 10% of what they take in. Some of them even less, because they're constantly having to reinvest in the products. And that's why one of the best opportunities right now to make a lot of money is to sell your Amazon company. And there's a lot of businesses out there. There's like 60 of them right now. If you go to marketplacepulse.com, you can actually see a whole list of them that are buying Amazon businesses, not just Empire Flippers and Thrasio and some. I mean, there's a ton of them. And the reason those guys come in and is they have bigger pockets and they can expand it, the business better. And they can come in, the guy like me that's been working my ass off to make these products and not taking much profit out because I keep reinvesting the profit. They'll come in and they'll buy it from me for a high price. I can take all the money off the table, and then I can pay my bills, take a nice vacation, take care of my family, and then I take some of the money and I start doing it again. And I build now. The second time I do it, I know what I'm doing, and I'm starting with more money in the beginning, so I can start faster and grow faster. I have a friend who's done this 3 times now. He started in 2015. He and his wife. He didn't quit his job. He stayed working at his job. She had a baby, so she stayed home. She did some of the work. 3 years for their selling on Amazon before he quit his job, because they were paying their bills, their rent, and everything from his job. Taking all the money of Amazon, putting it back in. In 2017, they sold their business as a baby products. They sold it for $4 million. And they took that $4 million, and then they put some money to aside for the education of their kids. They went and I saw them right after it happened, because I was at an event in Las Vegas, and they went to a nice dinner at the MGM in Las Vegas. It cost like $2,000 for this dinner, with the wine. Yeah. It's crazy. And so they treated themselves like they were the king and queen. And then they took a bunch of the money, like $500,000, and they started another brand. They sold that in late 2019 for like $7 million. And then put a bunch of money of profit aside, made some investments. He just told me he was supposed to speak at one of my events 2 weeks ago, my $1 billion Start Summit. He said, Kevin, I'm busy right now. We're finishing our house. We're building our dream home. And I got to go and talk with the guys. It's taking all my time to make sure everything is right. And he said, also, I'm about to sell my third company for $20 million. So you keep working and turning it. And they're being very, very smart about it. And that's how you make money at this. And that those opportunities are there, no matter where you live. You don't have to be living in the U.S. You can be living in Pakistan, and you can be living in the Seychelles. You can be living in wherever, somewhere in Africa, and you can do this. So the opportunities are endless, but you have to be smart about it. And they have a plan, and it's working.
The word of wisdom, actually. These are the word of wisdom for any new Amazon sellers who wants to start with a journey. And this is the beauty of Amazon and the beauty of e-commerce business. You can flip it. You just need to have a clear plan from day one. Exactly, right?
Yeah, exactly. I always say start your business on Amazon with the intention to sell it. If you're going to start selling Amazon, that's why private label is the best. Can you make money doing drop shipping? Yes. Can you make money doing wholesale? Yes. Can you make money doing affiliate marketing? Yes. But those businesses are very difficult to sell. I mean, you can go to Empire Flippers or something like that, get a little bit of money for it. But to sell for millions of dollars, you need to have private label. And those are the ones that people want, because private label, you control it more. It's your brand, it's your name, it's your brand. Hopefully you've created a brand. It's your product line. Hopefully you've innovated something. You can just go to China and stick your logo on a product you found on Alibaba. That's much harder to do these days. You got to change it. You got to be creative with it. All business is based on innovation and marketing. Those are the only two things that matter in business, is innovation and marketing. So if you can outmarket other people, you can beat them. If you can out innovate them, you can beat them. Without both of those, it's going to be difficult no matter what business you're in, whether you're an oil company or you're selling on Amazon or you're a food company selling to the grocery stores. Those two things are critical to your success.
Innovation, number one is innovation. You need to be innovative and you need to outsmart everyone. So these are the two
And
secret formula, right?
innovation doesn't always mean coming up with a new idea, new product. You can innovate on a way to use an existing product. You can innovate on a lot of things, and then marketing is crucial, because if I take 5 people that go, this would be a good challenge. Take 5 people and say, look, I want you to go find a spatula on Alibaba. It's old spatula, easy product to source, not too expensive. Go find it on Alibaba. All 5 of you launch this product on Amazon. Same spatula. You're not allowed to change the spatula. You can change the packaging if you want to, but you're not allowed to change the spatula. Everybody has to have the same spatula. You can put your logo on it. That's it. And see what happens. All 5 people launch. One of those people is going to be better at marketing. They're going to have a better package. They're going to have a better listing, better photos. Something they say in their copy is going to be different. Or maybe they know how to launch the product. They know how to use Isabella's services, or they know how to do Facebook or something. One of those people is going to kick the other 4's ass. And that's because of that's because of marketing. So you can outmarket people. If you're very good at marketing, you can win this game.
Exactly.
On Amazon,
Yeah.
people eat with their eyes first. And selling on Amazon, or all e-commerce for that matter, not just Amazon, people don't buy products; they buy photos. So people don't buy products; they buy photos. So if I'm trying to decide which of these spatulas, I'm going to look at the photos and the video, and I mean which of those looks like it's the most professional, the most compelling, which gives me the information that I'm looking for. That's what people buy, and if you can do that better than anybody else, you can win.
Perfect. So, Kevin, I just want to ask one thing. What would be your key advice or your word of wisdom to all the people out here? Because there are so many things that goes. Someone would say Amazon is killing you, and probably what should be the right approach, and what should be the right approach to launch product on Amazon. People, like, for example, someone has a good product, they do have a budget. What should be their ideal approach to launch a product on Amazon?
Well, first, like I said earlier, you got to launch what you can afford. Only launch what you can afford to launch, and based on that 2.5 rule that I said earlier. So if you only have $2,000, you're going to have to find a product that's only going to cost you about $700 to launch, because you need that extra money for additional product and for marketing and stuff. So that's number one. But can I find a product that's only cost me $700 to launch on Amazon? Maybe. It's not going to be easy. The more money you have, the more options you have to launch. But it may mean the product only sells 3 per day. So don't get these dollar signs in your idea that you're going to retire from your job and pay your rent in 2 months from your Amazon sales. Maybe it's going to take you 1 or 2 years, like the story I said earlier. So you're going to have to keep working your other job and do this on the side or at night or on the weekends until it builds up. Just like my friend who didn't quit his job for 2 years. Now they're selling a company for $20 million, their third one. So that's number one. And there's plenty of opportunity. As Amazon's gotten bigger, the depth of products has gotten bigger. So, 5 years ago, if I wanted to sell a spatula for left-handed people, there might be nobody buying a spatula for left-handed people. Is there even such a thing that exists? I don't even know. But now maybe people are typing left-handed spatula on Amazon. I don't know if they are or not. And maybe it's only 100 searches a month. But out of those 100 searches, those are pretty serious people that probably want a left-handed spatula. So maybe 50 of them are going to buy. And if you're the only guy or one of like 2 guys that has a left-handed spatula, even if it's the same spatula for everybody else, it's like spatula is exactly the same as all the other ones on Amazon, but you just change the marketing and say, this is for left-handed people only. Don't buy this if you're a right-handed person. Even though it'll work fine. It's the same thing. It's nothing different. But you said this is for left-handed people only. And maybe you can make all 50 of those sales. And you can buy this spatula for $1 or $2, and you can sell it for a premium. You can sell it for, everybody else is selling theirs for $9.99. You sell yours for $19.99 because it's only for left-handed people. It's a special one for left-handed people. And you start there. And is 50 sales a month going to make you rich? No, not at all. But it's a start. And then you can build off of that. And you can do things like that. And that's why Amazon now, sales from the pandemic are 40% higher last year. And so everything that what used to be like a 20,000 or a 10,000 BSR is now a 20,000 BSR. And it's still a lot, but so the breadth of the market is much bigger. And so you can find those little niches that are crazy where you can start and make some money. And then it all starts with the keywords. So beyond that, all product research starts or product opportunity starts with keywords. So you gotta make sure there's demand on Amazon for the product, and that demand, like I just said, might be only 100 searches a month for a very small special product. Don't always go for the big keywords that have 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 searches a month. Those are going to be very competitive, can take more money. So find the ones that are much smaller and see how many keywords there are and and then you know what is the competition. Are there people selling left-handed spatulas? If there's only one other guy, and you can use X-ray tool and see what he's doing a month, and maybe you can come in there and be the number 2 guy, or maybe you can beat him and be the number 1 guy. So keyword research, demand, which tells you the demand. Then you look at the competition on that demand, and then you got to find a good product and find a way to differentiate it, and that's the marketing.
Amazing knowledge. So, Kevin, we have a question from Sarah, and she asks, Kevin, how do you choose your team? Because like you people are selling $1 billion on Amazon, you have multiple brands. For you, it's really important to build.
I don't sell $1 billion on Amazon. I sell $1
million on Amazon. So, how do you pick your team? How do you build a strong team around you?
Right now, to be honest, I don't have any employees. I have 1 VA for 2 of my companies, and that's it. So that's it. I own 8 companies, or I'm a partner in 8 different companies. Some I own 100%, some I'm partner in, I only own a piece. But what I do is I work smart, not harder. So I partner with people. For example, let's take the Freedom Ticket course. Just as an example. I could do that course myself. I created the course. I could find my own software to put it on. I could set up my own credit card. I could do my own Facebook ads. I could do all that stuff myself and keep all the money and that I make in the profits. But I would have to run all the Facebook ads. I would have to answer all the customer service. My password doesn't work. I would have to, all those kinds of things. I would have to do all that stuff. Instead, I partner with Helium 10. So Helium 10 says, hey, Kevin, we have an audience that's buying the software. They need training. You know how to teach them and how to create the course. That's what you do the best. Why don't you create the course? You come and you create the course, and we'll do everything else. You just show up, to do the course, and we'll take care of everything else, and we'll do a profit share. We'll do something that's fair for both of us. So that's all I do is I create the course, and it's done. I don't have to worry about who's going to edit the video, who's going to do this, who's going to write the PDFs, who's going to do this. I don't have to answer any customer service. I don't have to do any credit card stuff. And so I don't have to I only spend the time doing what I do best, and the rest is taken care of by somebody else. And yes, they take a good percentage. Let's just call it, this is not what it is, but let's just say it's 50-50. I get 50%, they get 50%. What you say, Kevin, you're giving up 50%. That's crazy. You could have all that money for yourself. But yes, but what if I had to hire a team? I had to pay these people. I had to pay all the Facebook ads. I had to do all this. Maybe that's going to be more than 50% at the end. and it's going to be a lot of trouble. And it's going to mean I'm spending my time babysitting all those people instead of doing something on one of my other businesses that could make me more money. So that's one of the ways I do it. And so like on, sometimes I'm still out there getting, my calendar business, for example, it's seasonal. So it only goes from October to January, pretty much. It's only 3 months of the year. People are buying calendars for the next year. And so that business, it generates several $100,000. It's not a multi-million-dollar company, but on Amazon, $300,000 to $400,000 in sales in a couple, like 2 months, basically, from Thanksgiving in the U.S. till New Year's. So most of the sales happen in about 5 weeks, and it's like $300,000 to $400,000. And I have a warehouse. I make these calendars in South Korea. I've been doing it for years. I have someone else that creates all the designs. I send it there. The pallets come. I have a warehouse in Austin that I take them to. It's like 7 pallets of these calendars. Each box has 50 calendars in it. So each box is like $1,000. Each little box, case is like $1,000 because I sell them for $20. They stay in this little warehouse, and once a month I go and I ship some into FBA. Me personally, I'm over there sweating, picking up the boxes, throwing them to the truck, and sending them away it gets me some exercise. It gets me from sitting at my desk, and it makes me some good money. So I'm willing to do that. People are like, Kevin, why don't you just hire somebody to do that? I'm like, nah, it's a nice break for me. I'll do it. So that's how I do it. Now, that's not normal. Most people, they have a full team, but also you have to remember my background is I've been doing this for 30 years. And so I already know about the marketing. I already know about the sourcing. I already know about the logistics. Most people that are starting, they don't know all those things. So they have to hire people on their team that specialize in each of those. And so,
yes. Yeah, then continue.
No, go ahead.
No, continue, please.
Most people they have to hire that. So I'm not the best person to tell you how to build your team around you because that's not something I do. My approach is I partner with other smart people. And other good people. I have a company now that's the one I was talking about earlier that's launching, with the license deal, the recycled ocean waste. There's 5 people on this team. My job is to oversee Amazon, but one guy, he oversees the whole wholesale. Another guy, he oversees all the factories. Is there some crossover? Yes, but we're all partners. So everybody has their responsibility and they do their thing. And out of that business, none of us have taken a salary. There's no salaries. So we won't take any money until the company starts to actually looks like it can sell. So we're doing it for the long term to actually make some money when it sells, hopefully 3 years from now. We started the company from day one to sell it. So every decision we make is how does this increase the value of us when we sell this company? And so maybe we could take a small salary now, but we don't need it because we have other businesses. So we're looking for the big payday down the road.
Yeah. So you are one-man army and leading so many businesses because like the thing that you have already shared, work is smart, but sometimes you need to work hard as well. But you need to be smart if you want to grow businesses. Amazing. So Kevin, thank you. Like I do have one format for this podcast, and this is something for the community, which is like, would you mind sharing some of the tips and techniques for all the existing Amazon seller, which you usually don't share. So this can add a value to their selling experiences, probably something related to ranking or probably something related to anything which can help their existing Amazon business, probably the key area that you usually don't share anywhere, something which is in your secret box.
Yeah, sure. I can't tell you the exact secret on how to do it, but because I have an NDA on it. But if you drive outside traffic from Google to your Amazon listing when you're launching, and you know how to mask the referral. I mean, this is advanced for the programmers. And mask the referral to make it actually show that it's coming. Not coming from an ad, but coming from natural search on Google or coming from YouTube or something else, you can launch a product at about a third of the cost of doing rebates. So because outside traffic coming from Google to Amazon, if it's done right with the right referral, there is a technique to this. and I can't share that exactly here, but the smart people, the programmers that are experienced, they can figure this out. You can mask that referral. You will actually get 3 times the ranking juice on Amazon than any PPC or any search, find, buy, or anything else. Because Amazon rewards that traffic if it's correctly referred with like a 3x bump. And so you can launch products and rank products a lot cheaper. That's a little secret there.
That's a goal, actually. That's a goal that you have shared.
So that's a little secret there. Another what's another go to? I mean, there's another. Yeah, yes. I'm trying to.
You have ton of secrets. You have ton of secrets, and you just need to
Yeah.
figure out which one I can share with the audience, in which I don't have NDA signed.
I mean, there's a lot of tools out there too that are really, they're not public tools. Brand analytics is probably one of the best. I'll tell you something that everybody can use. So brand analytics is that's where I start when I look for products. I actually don't start with Helium-10. I start with brand analytics. That's just my personal way to do it. I'm not saying this is the best way. I'm just saying this is the way I do it. I start with brand analytics. So if you have brand analytics, I download the top 1 million or whatever it'll let you download. I'll download it into Excel. And I do it for the previous month. Previous month sales, or if you can do the previous quarter, if it's like April 1st. Well, Amazon usually it's like a week after. You have to wait a week. But say it's early April, you can do the first quarter of 2021. If you can't do a quarter, just do the previous month. Download it. I eliminate everything that has an SFR of greater than 300,000. Everything that has an SFR greater than 300,000, I eliminate it. Now you don't have to do that. That's just my rule. I'm looking for products that have a certain, at least $10,000 a month in sales. But if you're starting smaller, don't eliminate. Keep everything in there. But just for me, I eliminate after 300,000, and then I run in Excel. I create another column in Excel, and I add together all the conversion rates. So the those of you that know, brand analytics shows you click share and conversion share. So I add a column that adds up the conversion shares. And so maybe the product number 1 has conversion a share of 20%, product 2 is 15%, product 3 is 10%. I'm just making this example. Those 3 added together is 45%. So that means 45% of all the sales for this keyword come from those 3 products. That probably means it's pretty competitive because there's only 55% of the sales that are left. In some cases, 55% of sales is still a lot of sales, and maybe you want to compete there. But I'm looking for the little bit easier ones initially. So anything that has greater than 40% conversion share, when you add the 3 together, I eliminate. Now, you don't always have to eliminate those. Like I said, there's still good opportunities in that other, but I'm just trying to find the easier ones, the low-lying fruit. And so anything above 40%, when you add them 3 together, I eliminate all those keywords. So now my 300,000 keywords is maybe, 200,000 or 180,000. And then any of them that have a click share of 0%. So like maybe, the second or third one says 0%, but it has conversion share of 0%, but it has a high click share. It has like 20% click share, but 0% conversion. To me, that's someone manipulating. That's some guys in Bangladesh or something running add to carts or something like that to it, or some Chinese sellers that are doing some crazy stuff for ranking. So to me, I don't want to compete against those guys. So I eliminate all those. Now I'm down to, 100, 150,000 left. And then I start going through them with my eyes, not with a software tool, with my eyes, and looking for stuff. And I've done this a lot, so I know, okay, baby stroller, no, that's too competitive. Dog ball, no, I know that's going to be too competitive. And then I see a word in there, I'm like, what is this word? I've never heard of this word. I don't even know what this is. I go put it into Google Chrome on Amazon, see what it is. Like, oh, that looks interesting. Let me hit the X-ray tool and see what they're doing. And I see what they're doing, and I'm like, oh no, the top guys, too many reviews. The top 10 guys all have like 1,000 reviews, not too competitive. All right, next one. And I keep going down the list until I find good opportunities. And I can usually find products in 1 to 2 hours this way. And then I take those products I have a partner that owns a sourcing company, and I give it to his team, and they go and they source. They speak Chinese and everything, so they go and they source it. So they use Alibaba, they use personal contacts, they use whatever, and then they come back and say, okay, this product costs this much from this factory. We think this is the best factory. About half of the things that I find, sometimes more, we don't do them. Right now, the MOQ is too high, or no, this costs too much money. How the hell is anybody making money on Amazon? All these other sellers, nobody's making money. Maybe it's the factory or something. It's the only way. And so half of them get eliminated. So not all those products I find in 1 or 2 hours, every time I find one in 1 or 2 hours, do they stay. Half of them get eliminated. But at the end, we find some really, really good products that way. And so that's how I do some. I mean, there's a little bit more to it. I can't go into the whole detail here. Maybe we'll put that in the next Freedom Ticket course next year. But that gives you a basic idea of the way I use brand analytics. And then there's a tool that is not public that a friend of mine, he has a mastermind and he created his own special tools, and only like 200 people have access to these tools. And he takes the brand analytics data and he figured out a formula. I will tell you exactly how many sales are on every keyword. So based on the brand analytics, he knows that this keyword has 300 sales per month off of this keyword. And this keyword has 200. And so you can actually look at that. This is not a guess. I mean, it is a guess, but it's like 99% accurate. So it's a very, very good guess. He figured out how to do this with the brand analytics data, but Amazon doesn't like that. Amazon doesn't want you to do that because it's against their rules. So that's why Helium 10 doesn't offer this, or Jungle Scout doesn't offer this, because they have to stay with their nose very clean to Amazon. So he has this, and so I can look and see the opportunities for these different keywords, and if it makes sense, then I proceed with the product.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. This brand analytics tool, this brand analytics technique is definitely help most of the sellers, those who are looking for products on Amazon and those who are doing product research through a various tool. And brand analytics is one of the most viable data available, the most accurate one, right? So this is going to help all the people. And both of the technique that you have shared for launching and for finding a right product through this way, these both are amazing ones.
One of the things in brand analytics, so say you find a keyword, and the longer tail, the better. So like the word dog bowl is not a really good keyword, but slow feed dog bowl is a much better keyword. It's a longer tail keyword. So then what I'll do, if I find a good opportunity there, after I told you my process, I'll type in the word slow feed dog bowl, if that's in this example, into brand analytics and see how many other keywords come up that are also in the brand analytics, and then compare those. And I like to see keyword products that have between 10 and 20 keywords in brand analytics, because if there's at least 10 to 20, then there's a lot of opportunity. There's maybe 4 of those keywords are too competitive, but the others are good or something. So that means there's more doorways to come into the house. If I'm going to rob your house and you only have a front door, that's the only way I can come in. But if you have a bunch of windows, you have a door on the back of the house, I can sneak in whichever door I want. So when you have more keywords, like more doors to the house. So there's different ways to sneak in. So that's why I said when there's more to it, then I just gave you the simple thing. But I look at some of that stuff too, but it's a process that works really well. Amazing. And then you got to launch it. I mean, you can't delete, other people may be finding the same products or the same idea. So if you take a long time, you're going to lose because other people might find it too. So you have to act quickly.
Yeah, thank you. So, Kevin, thank you so much for being here and sharing all the knowledge, the words that you have shared, the knowledge that you have, word of wisdom. I would call it the word of wisdom from your side. Definitely, you help so many, like you answered so many queries and shared amazing tips that usually, you don't share on other platforms. So, thank you so much for being here and sharing all the knowledge. It was pleasure having you.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for everybody for staying up late, and I hope to see you around sometime. Hope to meet you in person.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you in person as well. Thank you so much.
Take
It was
care.
pleasure having you. Bye.
Bye.